Yep, I'm back, people. Not sure from where, but I'm back. Anyway, this is the Aeropress GO, which is different than the actual Aeropress. It's a bit smaller and compact, but it's actually incredible for its size. Even though the original Aeropress was great, the GO just takes it to a whole new level by just making all the great components a little more compact. They even modify the stir so it's foldable. It also comes with 350 microfilters, which is, just shy of having coffee once a day for a whole year. So close. Cool add-on is this Aeropress filter holder, which holds 20 filters, which I think was a really cool addition. Now the chamber and plunger are like the original, but just a little bit smaller. Just remember, you might have to adjust your quantities if you're used to the original one. Now, if you've never used an Aeropress, the directions are pretty straightforward, so just follow them and you should get it. I mean, if you don't understand English, you have like 9 different ways of seeing the directions, so that's good. Now it is time to make a delicious cup of coffee, hopefully. First up, you want to grab one of your microfilters and put it into the filter cap. Then you're going to lock it into the chamber. One thing I noticed when you put the filter into the filter cap, there are these little spaces on the side of the cap that may cause some leaking during brewing. Next up, some nice coffee. Oh God, I do love coffee. Can't you tell? Maybe. I like it a little bit. Alright, these numbers on the side of the chamber represent the servings. And with the scooper they give you, you want to put 1 scoop of coffee per serving. Now, depending on the kind of strength you actually like personally, you may want to adjust this. That's just my opinion. Now you just want to shake it up a little bit to level out the coffee inside and do a little dance like I'm doing. Next up, you want to add some hot water. Now, if you look at the directions, the preferred temperature is 175 degrees. So in that case, when you're traveling, you're supposed to carry around a thermometer? I mean, I feel like unless it's something you're passionate about, who does that? Clearly not me. Now pour in your extremely perfect 175 degree water into your chamber. And the first time I did this, I noticed that it was leaking pretty heavily. It does mention a minor amount of liquid dripping through, and that's normal, but I just wasn't sure what I had going on was actually normal. At one point I switched over to a glass coffee cup to just show you how it looked when it was dripping. Next I moved on to just stirring it for 10 seconds to get all those grinds all nice and wet. Next I plunged it, and slowly you want to plunge it and just make sure you're holding on to it tight so it doesn't flip over on you. You might get a little resistance as you're plunging, that's just normal. Just go nice and slow, don't speed it up. And that's pretty much it. And at the end here, you had this nice, beautiful cup of coffee. I mean, it looks awesome, doesn't it? I've always been impressed by the Aeropress. It makes a pretty consistent cup of coffee each time. Speaking of coffee, a lot of different options here for types of coffee you can make with the Aeropress GO. And if you check YouTube, you can actually see how people are making all these different types of coffee. Alright, how did it taste? Well, delicious, but as you can tell, I had probably too many cups of coffee. I enjoyed it and got a little fired up. Note from the editor, don't drink as much as I do, you might explode your heart. Now for the cleanup, which is actually my favorite part. It's very easy to clean up the Aeropress GO. Just remove the filter cap, then just flip it over and plunge the rest of those used grinds from the chamber. And honestly, that's pretty much all the cleanup. Now look, I used the silicone cap as my garbage, which I thought was pretty clever. That's pretty much the entire process of using the Aeropress GO. I do believe anyone can just pick this thing up and become a pro out the gate, with just a little bit of practice. Now I thought since I was having a little bit of leaking, I would try the inversion method next. One thing I love about this method is the plunger creates like a line, so when you're putting in your coffee, you can actually measure it more accurately when you're adding hot water. One thing to look out for in the inversion method when you're adding grinds to the actual Aeropress, try your best not to get grinds into the lock of the filter cap. If you do, I would try blowing it out, but don't get it in your face like I did. Because if you leave grinds in that cap lock, it's very hard to get it tight and locked in. And with the inversion method, when you add hot water, you'll have no leaks. Then you just want to add the filter and the filter cap and lock it in. I then let it sit for about 30 seconds. After that, I turn it over and prepare to plunge it. I noticed when I did this, there was way less leaking. That could just be my experience, so don't hold me to it. After that, I plunged it, and as you can see, I got a great cup of coffee. I think either method worked pretty well. I'm just more of a fan of the inversion method. That's just who I am. Sorry, I'm an inverter. What can I say? I do think it wouldn't hurt to put actual lines next to the numbers. It would just help with measuring out the water. And just so you know, I did try different courses of grind, and honestly, I had leaking on each one of them. Beyond those 2 critiques, I really like this thing. The coffee's good. There also seems to be a lot of thought in the design. I'm most impressed by the way it packs down because I think it would be good for like glamping or a festival or even if you're going backpacking. It's a very versatile coffee maker. I mean, I've owned an Aeropress for many years, and the Aeropress GO was just like a breath of fresh air. Because some of the things that I wish it did, which was actually compact down so you could travel with it, was the one thing that was missing. And in the end, I do think this is one of the best travel coffee makers there are. The good thing in my opinion is that it's so versatile. Forget just using it for glamping or any kind of like festival. You could definitely use this in like the backcountry. Can you tell that I like this thing a bit? Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Please smash that subscribe button, comment. all the good things. Thanks for watching. Take care.